Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. So today I want to address why I think hims and hers will sell more during a recession. And let me just say that I am not happy about that. That's why in the thumbnail I say thank the Fed. I'm not happy about that. I would much rather not be in this situation where we have a depression or a recession, at least I hope not a depression. I would much rather not have a recession. But that's what poor monetary policy does, and we have a recession. And all of our portfolios are down, right? My portfolio is way down, way down. It's been very tough. So believe me, I am not rejoicing at the fact that a recession is here, and that a lot of people are going to need the products that HIMSS sell. But I do think this recession. Um, is unfortunately going to increase the sales of HIMSS. And I say unfortunately because I would rather it be normal times and have HIMSS trade at normal level as well as innovative stocks. HIMSS is a very innovative company, and I am very, very impressed by a lot of the stuff that they do, and very impressed by this company in general and its numbers. So, anyways, none of this is investment advice, but we're in a recession, unfortunately. And recessions tend to increase the need for these products. And this is so unfortunate. Like I said, this is so unfortunate. I do not rejoice at the misfortune brought about by a recession. There's been too many bears that are like rejoicing at companies going bankrupt. That's not good, right? But that's strategy, right? And we need to look at the facts. So we need to look at the facts. So let me get into the products that him sells and why recession leads to more sales. So why does the need for HIMSS rise in a recession? Well, there is more issues of ED during recessions. So first of all, the AI agrees with me, Chat GPT agrees with me, and people may not only continue to use these drugs, as they may consider them important to their quality of life or their relationship. And I could have poked Chat GPT more to tell me more. Chat GPT seems to be a wonderful search engine. But anyways, if you dig to 2008 and you go back to the last recession that we had, the great financial crisis, this was one article that was published in Forbes. Sexual recession, right? Stress, depression, and anxiety all wreak havoc on the libido, right? And there's a lot of issues. It's a very interesting article where I talk about the psychology. It's also linked. That's what you find with HIMSS when they do a whole person preventative care. It's all linked. Uh, we know that men who lose their jobs and lose their roles as a family breadwinner, that may impact the sense of manhood, which then has an impact on ED. Um, and so that leads to all of these very, very unfortunate issues. Again, I think I made that clear, but I'm not rejoicing about this. I'd much rather be in a bull market where everything's doing well. So sexual recession has been observed, and we may be heading into this again. And so as men get into issues related to stress, these issues may arise. But there's another issue why I think these issues will come, and I have a lot of detail here, but bear with me because it's related to the whole idea of whole person's care and what ED is a predictor of, which I think is one of the big theses for the stuff. So let me go with this slide. I know it's a charged slide, but let me go with this slide. So what are some of the causes of ED? Well, so our disease I could have highlighted here is linked to that. But most of it, if you read, most of it has issues to do with blood flow. Bear with me. I think this is why it's very important to talk about this, because this company could be a preventative care company. So ED typically is an issue of blood flow. Why? Because you have this corpus cavernosum that fills with blood, right? That's the underlying mechanism for a man's reproductive function. It fills with blood during sex, essentially. The problem is when you eat poorly, or when you have been eating poorly for a long time, and by poorly I mean anything that has to do with fat, and anything that has to do with saturated fat, especially, and cholesterol. When you eat poorly, these arteries right here, which are very tiny, they get clogged. The arteries get clogged, and so do the chamber. And these are very, very, very tiny vessels. And as they get clogged by the fat that is in our food, you get ED. That is the leading cause of ED. So the goal to not have that issue is to not clog the artery of a sponge-like structure in the corpus cavernosum. You don't want to clog it with saturated fat. You don't want to do that. That's why it happens. And by the way, this is what it looks like. So, right, you have an artery here, and this is a cutout of that artery. This is a healthy one, and this is one with plaque. This is one with fat, with the deposited fat. So this is the root of ED. And the problem is, and this is so key to why this is a preventative healthcare company. When these issues arise, when someone has these issues and goes seek help to these issues, they are not at the stage of heart disease, right? Why? Because it is the tiniest arteries that get clogged first, and for men they just happen to be right here. So ED often precedes heart disease, and when you research online, you see that it's one of the biggest predictors of heart disease. And this is why it's so important to look at HIMSS as a preventive company, because most the leading cause of death in America for men is heart disease. That is the leading cost, the leading cause of death. So HIMSS may see someone, may have a customer who is in, say, their mid-50s, and comes for this problem, and actually diagnoses, HIMSS may be able to diagnose and treat a much bigger problem before it arises, by educating and by making the customer aware. So that's why fixing the problem of ED is a much bigger thing than just sexual wellness. Like, it goes beyond that. It goes much beyond that, because that's a predictor. That's a sign that you are on your way to atherosclerosis, which is the leading cause of death in America. That is a sign. There's, of course, other factors, but that is one of the big signs. And I think this is where HIMSS could really differentiate itself as a holistic, preventative healthcare company, where you get the customer before they get much bigger issues like a heart attack, and you get to educate the customer before they get bigger issues. And one of the things that's very important to know is that men in general, they're not big onto going to the doctors. I hate to make generalizations like this, but this is a good way for them to approach the medical field before bigger issues, right? This is one of the main points of contact that a man will have. So, anyways, sorry for the charts, but I think it's very interesting to understand the underlying reason, and understand the what we're investing in. Like, what is the reason until we're investing in. Okay, but so let me just say, so why do I talk about fat? Why do I talk about atherosclerosis? That must have been obvious to most of you watching, but the reason why I talk about fat is because, of course, recessions greatly change our eating habits. Done with the organic food, done with the cooking healthy at home, done with the fancy DoorDash or whatever people do, right? No, you're going to eat. Typically, in a recession, people eat more poorly. They eat fast food. They eat food that is very high in saturated fat. And so when you're older, over multiple years, that may be enough for you to trigger ED. Knowing that also, and this is one of the points of atherosclerosis, like many of us have some level of it, right? It's about the increment. It's about the incremental fat that will lead to the problem. But these buildups, they get built over years and years and years and years and years. But as you have a recession, that may just be the more food, an opportunity for you to get more bad food, and then boom, the problem arrives. So, anyways, I think this is very interesting, the link between food and sexual health, and then sexual health being a predictor of overall health and overall issues. But I'm not done, and this is why I'm upset about the recession. I don't like it. Uh, Recessions lead to mental health issues, right? They lead to depression, they lead to anxiety, and we have a lot of studies, especially from '08, showing us some of the issues that have happened. So they lead to depression, which is depression drugs is also something that HIMSS sells. And of course, depression is also linked to ED, right? Anxiety is also linked to ED. What you find is that the three main treatments right here that HIMSS has are all very, very highly correlated. They're all very, very highly correlated, which is fascinating. Okay, let me conclude with the third thing, the third service that HIMSS provides, which is hair loss. So hair loss is itself correlated with ED, but is also itself created by stress. So stress is a major cause of hair loss. How stress and anxiety causes hair loss, and these are all research that you can do. So not only is ED, and this is a link from HIMSS, it's very link between ED and hair loss. Yes, there is a link. So not only is, and that's a correlation, not necessarily a causation, right? Because you don't have to have one to have the other, but there is a third factor somewhere that causes both. So these are highly correlated. All of these three factors that HIMSS sell tend to be very, very highly overlapping and correlated. So this creates opportunities for HIMSS to really address all of the issues and provide a holistic solution, because these are correlated, and often one issue comes with another issue and another issue. So that's an opportunity to provide a holistic, preventative healthcare solution, which I think is the bigger picture for HIMSS and hers. It's a bigger picture for them than just focusing on hair loss, which on the surface may seem superficial, but it's not. It's really, really not. So in conclusion, let me conclude this short video, and I will make this argument cleaner in future videos and talk more about the link between all of it. And I think HIMSS and hers are really leaning towards a future where they are a holistic first point of contact before bigger issues arrive, and that's their opportunity to fix problems before you need to go into acute care, before you have that heart attack. 20 years earlier, maybe you dealt with HIMSS, and maybe HIMSS 20 years later provided you with products that prevent you from getting that issue later on. Conclusion for the video. So recessions increase junk food consumption, and recessions increase stress, anxiety, and depression. As those two are increased, they in turn increase things like ED, hair loss, and depression drug sales, because these are highly correlated, unfortunately. And like I said, HIMSS can probably have the opportunity to catch and treat these early signs before larger problems appear. So I think this company is a big deal. This is not investment advice, of course, but I think this company is a big deal. It's really unfortunate that this recession may lead to greater sales for HIMSS, because I don't want a recession. It's just like I don't fundamentally, ethically, I don't like to see that. But I think it's important to note that from a strategy standpoint, we're going to benefit from this, because there are clear links that are highlighted throughout the literature. So thank you so much for watching. None of this has been investment advice. This is just entertainment. Thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you can. Thank you so much and have a great day.